like to call to order the meeting of January 2nd, 2024. So welcome, everybody. I have some announcements to read. Effective October 17th, 2023, public comments may be made in person or in writing. If you would like to view the meeting remotely, you may do so on one of the following ways: YouTube Live, Comcast Cable Channel 1028, Rossmore Channel 26, Wave Channel 29, AT&T UVerse Channel 99, or live stream online on the city's website. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Thank you, Chair. And just for the record, we are on January 22nd. I think you may have said January 2nd, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You want to turn back the clock. You want to stay on this commission as long as you can. Commissioner Meredith.
Here.
Commissioner Lemo.
Here.
Commissioner Klauber.
Here.
Commissioner Baltazar.
Here.
Vice Chair Dresser.
Here.
And Chair Emanuel.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the public communications period. This portion of the meeting is reserved for comment on items not on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the Commission cannot act on items raised during public communications, but may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, request clarification, or refer the item to staff. Are there any members of the public that wish to make public comment at this time? Okay, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Next on the agenda is the consent calendar. Does any commissioner have questions on any item on the consent calendar? Oh, okay. All right. So do I have a motion to approve each of the items on the consent calendar? I can read those. It's the approval of the Arts Commission regular minute meetings of October, approval of the Art Commission's regular meeting date of April 15th, which was changed, and the Community Arts Annual Report fiscal year 23. Do I hear a motion?
I hereby make a motion to approve all of the meeting minutes that were listed by Jane Emanuel. And I'll include them again.
Yes.
Those. Okay. I thought there was one missing.
Oh, there was one missing?
Yeah, there was 4. Yeah.
No, there was. I didn't say 4 things. No, there's just 3.
Arts Commission regular meeting minutes.
Right.
Arts Commission regular meeting schedule, annual report, and the Lusher Center for the Arts annual report.
Community Arts.
You may be looking at a different agenda.
Okay. I stand.
You can just say so moved, and we'll be good.
Okay. Just so moved. Thanks.
I second it, and thank you for changing the date of the next
Okay,
meeting.
do we have a roll call on that?
Yeah, you're welcome, Vice Chair Dresser. Commissioner Klauber.
Yes.
Vice Chair Dresser.
Yes.
Commissioner Meredith.
Yes.
Commissioner Lemo.
Yes.
Commissioner Baltazar.
Yes.
And Chair Emanuel.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Thank you.
All right, so I would like to invite staff to provide the presentations as listed on the agenda.
Is my microphone on?
Yeah, are you doing 4A first, right?
Yes. This is just, sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me. This is it. Yep.
Like, you didn't have a presentation for 4A?
No,
Okay.
no.
Gotcha.
Sorry. I was just, all I have.
Yeah, just so you'll just present
This. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's no actual presentation to share for this. Yeah, sorry for any confusion. Good evening, Arts Commissioners. At the last Arts Commission meeting in October, the Commission approved the panel for the artist selection process for the public art requirement for the Heather Farm Park project, which is set to begin in 2025. There is no action at this time, but last time it was to put together a panel, which we have done. And this is listed on the agenda report, the panelists. This panel just met on Friday, January 19th, and we went over the requirements for this new public art project. The panelists reviewed information on the park and the aquatic and community center, and were given an overview to elements to take into consideration when selecting artwork, such as accessibility, maintenance, safety, visibility, and with the aim of being inclusive and creating an equitable call for artists. Staff collected a lot of information from the panelists to help create an RFQ. We have the aim to cast as wide a net as possible, and the RFQ is now in its final stages of being drafted and will be published in February. It will remain open for 6 weeks with the hopes of having as many artists see it as possible. And there is no action needed at this time, so that is it for that.
Let me just add, thank you, Mariah. The staff wanted to provide this update to you because as we move forward in this project, it's so significant. We want to keep the commission informed throughout the course of the panel meetings. And then, of course, this is going to come to you ultimately for your approval or consideration of artist, location, and concept, or it could be artists, plural, locations, and concepts. There could be more than one. So that's your update, but we do want to provide you an opportunity to ask us questions. Commissioner Baltazar is on the panel. She may be able to answer questions as well if you'd like. So with that, we're happy to turn over to you, Chair, to ask for questions.
Okay. Are there any questions of the commission? We usually start with questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. So I know that when the Public Arts Committee met, we talked about putting together a plan for the artists so that the artists would know what the vision is before they decided to answer the call. So I think you may have that coming up in the February call for the artists, but I wanted to emphasize that I want to see that beforehand. I think we should all see what the vision for the expenditure is before we give it to artists to decide what the vision is. I think the staff should be able to come up with a vision, or us collectively, rather than having artists decide what the vision for the city of Walnut Creek will be with a piece as valuable as this one. So I'd like you to tell me if that's being taken into consideration.
Looks like Kevin might have some.
Yeah, so when we talked about this at your last meeting, it was understood that that would be something that staff folds into the RFQ. We're not planning on coming back to you in February. Your next meeting's in April. The panel will continue to meet throughout. And so what's likely to be included in the RFQ is the mission statement for the public art program. I'll read it to you. The mission of the city's public art program is to integrate art into the city's everyday environment and build a dynamic, exciting, and engaging place to live, visit, and do business. Through public art, the program aims to make our public spaces more welcoming and to create a dialogue between artists and the community that honors our ideals, histories, and shared values. So that'll be included in the RFQ. What we're looking for is for the artists to articulate what they see as a vision for this artwork, and then the panel is going to say, okay, this is consistent with where we feel like this is going to go, or not. And so there can be a dialogue there a little bit as this process unfolds, rather than saying, this is what you're going to do, this is the vision, and make that kind of boxing them in. We'd like to have this a little bit more inclusive and more comprehensive as part of the conversation. So with that bold and big vision, broadly defined, we're looking to not limit artists and what they wish to present of their qualifications, which is really what we're doing first, and then having a conversation as a panel about who may be most qualified to be considered and presented to this group for your consideration.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's not quite what I was imagining. I know that artists can come up with ideas, but I think that there should be some sort of, like, we should have our own vision, our own, that is within this mission statement that you wrote, that you read out loud, for artists to be able to have some direction. And I think that direction is more focused than just a broad mission statement. We could all agree with the mission statement, but there is a place. There is a place that has several options there. So is it the building that's going to get art? Is it the front lawn? Is it by the pool? And I don't want to be the one who inspires artists, but yeah, what is overall, like, or specific vision for there, without, of course, telling an artist what to do.
That's always the dilemma of any public art project is
Yeah.
not limiting their vision and their creativity and their brilliance.
Yeah.
So that's why we're keeping this broad. This will be included in the RFQ, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the responses that we get, which I believe will be diverse rather than having one stream of thought. So we're still at the question time, so I'm not sure if you asked a question or if it was just a comment, but I responded.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm happy to take other questions, or staff is. As
I have one more question.
course.
So the invitation to artists, is it, do we have a list that we are going to use, or is it for any artist in the world, or how's that going to be
So-
done?
Yes, it's for any artist to reply to. So the request for qualifications, this is just the first step where we would like to see people who have an interest in applying for this project. And yeah, it is open to anyone. So if there are people that you have in mind, we would be happy for all of you to help support and share it, and so as many eyes are on this as possible. Does that answer your question?
Yes, but it generates a different question.
Okay.
How are we equipped to answer all of the possible, like, what if there's 1,000 different artists that come forward?
I mean, that would be a great problem to have. Yeah, it would be a great problem to have if we could see 1,000.
All right, do you want to talk about the process the selection panel will go through? And
Yeah, so part of it, and we will be posting this on the RFQ also, we will host a Q&A, not session, we will answer people's questions, so in order to make it equitable. So we will have a survey that goes out to potential artists where they can ask us questions, and then we will respond to them. We'll have that posted. So that will help, I think, artists decide if this is a project that they're interested in doing, that they're capable of doing, and yes.
then to answer your question, when we do receive the statements of qualification from the artists, staff will take initial review of that. There may be artists that are not qualified. You know, they don't understand the project, or they think it's something completely different. But essentially what we're going to do is recommend probably a series of artists for the panel to consider. So there could be artists that the staff think are most qualified, artists that think are moderately qualified, et cetera. We'll present that to the selection panel for them to review, and then the panel will determine which of those artists will submit a proposal. Potentially, and we're still working on what those details are, but the panel is going to be intimately involved in the process of determining who is going to come as recommended to this body. So if we get 1,000, for sure, that would be spectacular.
And when do you
Commissioner Lameau?
when do you think we'll be able to see the artists and their proposal and their vision? Is that in the next year?
Yeah, so the goal is to publish the RFQ in February and then meet with the panel, the artist selection panel, shortly thereafter. Well, it will be open for 6 weeks. So ideally, we would be meeting and presenting to the commission by, did we say summer? By July would be ideal. by the summer meeting. And then that way we could invite those artists to come back in the fall at the October meeting to present, the top, let's say, 2 or 3 or 1 artists present to you. And then that would be voted on.
Okay, thank you.
May I clarify something? That when in July, that's going to the panel, correct? Not to us.
That would be going to you.
It would be
To the Arts Commission.
already in
Yes.
July?
That would be great, yes, that's the goal.
Okay.
As Mariah said, construction for this project is going to start in 2025, next year. So the earlier that we can get the artist involved in the process, the better. And so, yes, if we can do it in July, great. If it's October or some other time, we may have to do that. But we're trying to move this process along, recognizing that we want to be thoughtful and we want to be deliberate about this. And so that's our intent, and we'll see how that goes.
Yes? Commissioner Baltazar, please.
Great.
Oh, we're still on
still on
questions.
questions?
Yep, no
Okay.
questions? Okay,
No.
anybody else have any questions? I have one. Oh, go ahead, Ann.
For a lot of projects that go through the city's planning process, the Design Review Commission takes the lead on selecting locations for art, public art. I understand that the panel is going to be doing that for this project, or will the DRC, particularly for the buildings, would they have any input into where the most appropriate or where the most compatible or suitable artwork
Right.
go on a building?
So staff's been thinking about that. The way that we've envisioned the canvas is broad for this. It could be that the artwork is integrated into the design of the building. If so, we would follow the city's process, which is the DRC makes recommendations about a location. The Arts Commission approves it, right? But the DRC can make a recommendation like we did with the Waymark. It could be here, it could be here, it could be here. If, however, or if in addition, it's felt that the placement of the artwork can be within the park broadly, not necessarily attached to the building or adjacent to the building, maybe the Pros Commission, the Park and Rec and Open Space Commission weighs in on here's some suitable or ideal locations. So it's likely either through a public meeting at this council chamber or a committee to get folks involved. We will likely engage others in the recommendation about locations, and then that'll ultimately come to you for your approval. So yes.
Any other questions? I had one, but I forget. Okay, all right. So now we'll open this up for comments by the commissioners. Oh, okay. Are there any public comments first? Okay. All right, commissioners?
I attended the meeting last Friday. That's what day it is. Yes, Friday. It was a really kind of interesting and diverse group. And I think what came up multiple times was the actual process itself. And, one of the artists, the Fountainhead artist, is actually on the panel. He's quite fun. And he had a lot of tension around an RFQ and then an RFP and the nature in which the process itself can really limit an artist and their creativity, or the caliber of artists that will apply. And we toggled a little bit through the process in truly understanding, if something is publishing in February, how much time does this body get to kind of understand what we're setting up for? What is the actual selection? What is this budget of money going to look like? Should it be multiple grants or multiple scopes of work for public art? We also discussed back and forth these areas that we could be opportunity areas for art, and grappled with this idea that we're kind of setting it up to be one thing right now, because that is the process that moves smoothly through the city. But I would just be remiss to say, even the public comment that we had is a lot about how do we invite and collaborate. And I don't feel that this is yet set up, that it's going to yield that. And I want us to be really mindful
of how we engage the community. This is one of the best parks in the whole county, if not through the tunnel. And there's multiple things happening with the city. There's probably revenue streams that are being thought of much broader than the public art spaces, but how can we bridge some of that information so we're looking at the big picture versus this is off limits because XXX, even just a little bit more of the 50,000 foot view, not even the 30,000 of what does that area look like in 20 years from now and how does public art play a role? So I wanted to make sure I voiced that because they also brought up in this committee, how will the commission react? Will they vote on who we put forward? And, you know, my role as being part of that committee is trying to relay as many, pieces and elements of this process as possible, while following procedure and policy can be very complicated. So my comments are just, I think that the group is really diverse. I think there is still not clarity about what are we asking artists for. Requests for qualifications. Are we going to go out with a budget first? How much flexibility do we have after? To really just understand what this might look like, and is the fast track important for construction, which can be a competing priority, but does it hinder some of the creative aspects around collaboration?
Okay. All right, anybody else? Commissioner?
I'll just make a
Klauber?
quick repetitive statement. I still think that we need additional information for the folks who are going to be invited. What Sarah just mentioned, like maybe we should decide whether we want to split up the whole pie and have 5 different artists. And maybe we should have an input of, what this art is, where is it going to be? Maybe we have a piece of that. Maybe we want to create an idea. And then to have 1,000 artists, and that's not going, it doesn't appear or doesn't sound to me like that's going to be viable. So are we really going to give 1,000 artists a whole quality of time for their work and their time? Shouldn't we choose, though, shouldn't we pare it down? I don't think we have enough staff to go over 1,000 different proposals. And within the timing that we are looking at here, it just doesn't sound like it's going to work out. And also the caliber of the artists. I think staff is well equipped to decide caliber and then to put out the call for artists depending on the caliber of the artist that they choose. And it just seems to be, and then we get to see who those artists are, right, in terms of diversity and approval of the caliber of the work too, if possible. So I'll stop there. Thanks.
So this is a conversation. So would anybody like to comment on what Commissioner Klauber has said? So I'll comment on it a little bit. My good friend Eric Mortensen, who's not here this evening, has always told me, remember, you get to approve the art, not to choose the art. It's a very hard thing to not have your hands on the pie. So I understand what you're saying. I think the only thing that I think that the commission could weigh in on that I think would be a valid concern as for a vision for the whole park development would be in the area of, do we think that there should be one piece, or should it be the beginning of a sculpture garden or something to that effect? I don't know. We can't tell them to do this, but we could, I think, present maybe a discussion about would the panel consider these items, not to say that we want it that way, but to be sure that they consider something like that. I don't know if that's general enough, but otherwise, I think we won't get 1,000, but it would be great if we did, and I think that they can go through them and present them to the panel and we'll get to see the top 5 or so at the end. So that's the way it goes. That's what the panel's for. Does anyone have any comments? Staff have any input on this issue? Okay. So, does anybody else have comments other than what we've just been talking about?
One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's to that point of like keeping it really broad and open, so that we don't limit artists. I think there's also just what keeps coming up for me is like, are we designing for it to be a part of the structure right now and the immediate construction? And if we are, let's be really open and direct about that so that we don't have this, we could transform the whole park to be this walking dynamic public art experience. It's actually aligned to the new buildings, and we really want them to be in proximity to those spaces. Right now in the RFQ or potentially RFQ, RFP, they don't identify kind of where you can put it. There's maybe where not, and this is what the new construction might look like. So I do think designing with some constraints for the artists to understand how free they can be involves us describing it. It's for these locations. It's for potentially 3 more, and this is what they look like. Or you can include all of these high traffic public spaces in your thought process. I'd like to see that level of detail at least if we're just gonna kind of go through as planned. I think that would be helpful.
So that gives me, I thought of my other question too, but that gives me pause for thought. And could you talk a little bit about what is actually going to be in the RFQ? What topics, other than the mission of the public art program, which of course is crucial in the letterhead of it, what else goes out? Like, do you talk about what the buildings, where they will be and what they look like, and
Yes.
the various possibility of on a building or on the ground, or?
Yes. So in the RFQ, we try to set the stage as best we can for the artists, imagining that not all artists who come across this call will be familiar with Walnut Creek or Heather Farm Park. So we definitely, in the RFQ, there is also a description of the park and how it is used in so many different ways and how much, foot traffic it receives. There is a little bit of description about the city of Walnut Creek and what the environment is like here, because we're hoping that any artist who has an interest in this project will really take into consideration the space that they're building for, the community that they're building for, conceiving a concept for, and the surrounding environment. So that is also all part of it. And then, of course, a timeline, which, and the budget, and letting the artists know who apply that the budget is obviously, it must encompass fabrication and installation and all travel costs that are associated if it's not a very local artist. So these are all things that will be in the RFQ.
Okay. And my other question was, where do you post this? I know you have a pool, but where does it go beyond that?
So we use different artist call sites like Call for Entry, it's called Cafe. CodaWorks is a really big one for public art, and we share it with our artist networks. I'm on NorCalPAN, which is Northern California Public Art Administrators Network. I'm also on, there's just California Public Art Administrators Network, and then there's also another one that's a National Public Art Administrators Network, so sharing it with all of those colleagues across the country with hopes that they'll post it and share it with their artists, trying to get as many eyes on it as possible. So those are some of the ways, but then also looking to all of you, if you know of people, obviously I think we all know of certain artists that we would like to reach out to and invite, to at least let them know this opportunity is coming up.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Limo?
I have a question about the artists who apply. So can these artists be from virtually anywhere. Is that what you're saying? Like, if they're not local, they could be from any part of California. They could be from another state, even. I know that's kind of pushing it, but
Yeah,
is that
definitely.
possible?
They can be anywhere in the country. I think that it's
Okay.
open to national, U.S. citizens.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I think we're looking even more broad than that.
Are
right?
we?
They don't necessarily have to
Oh,
be.
so they could be international.
Yeah, it could be international. The idea is not to limit ourselves on who might have qualifications to do this work, so we're looking to make this as broad as possible, for sure.
And then, how do you plan to reach out to and get spread this word about this new project and get artists to know about it?
I mean, in addition to the different artist call sites that we'll be posting it on, social media, I think that social media is a great place for artists to look for opportunities, because then you really do open it up to a complete worldwide search that way. So if we post there, and then the hopes of, sharing it and having other people post. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other comments or ideas or proposals or, all right? All right, then, I think, do you have anything else you'd like to add? You do?
No, we will continue to provide updates to the commission at your regular meeting in April. I would expect by that point we will be farther along. I know we'll be farther along, and Commissioner Baltazar will be able to provide updates as we come back to additional staff, because we'll know kind of where we are as far as the responses to the RFQs. So we're excited about this process. Thank you to Commissioner Baltazar for being part of this, and for the commission for appointing her. And as we move forward, depending on who's on the Public Art Committee in the next year, those two members will also be part of this before it comes back to you as a body. So we're excited.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to go on to your next subject?
Sure.
Public Art Projects Report.
Yes, so this is just a quick, thank you, a quick update on some of the projects that have been completed recently. So the Crate and Barrel mural was completed. This was an elective mural, but that is now done. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's up, and by Casey O'Connell. Also very recently completed, just before the new year, I believe, they finally finished installing. So John Muir Hospital, the new outpatient medical center building that has 3 new pieces in the new building. I don't think the building is quite yet open to the public, on its way to being open to the public, but they have 3 great works out there, starting with a piece in the main lobby, like the atrium, which has entrances on either side of the building. This is Nature's Experience by Tally Fisher. And these are aluminum cut pieces that are suspended from the ceiling and powder coated with color. They have the theme of regeneration and new growth. And the clouds, she used the colors she saw from a sunrise at Mount Diablo. So she was inspired by her local environment for this piece. And outside is a piece titled Uplifting by Joseph O'Connell. This is installed directly into the cement wall, and it's kind of reaching up. This is in a kind of a garden meditation area outside of the building, right adjacent to it. And at night, it's lit up. So it has quite a presence at night as well. When you're leaving the area, you can see it from the parking garage, you can see it from all around. And then the third piece that was installed there is titled Regeneration by Barbara Grigudis. And again, these themes are all tied together, the healing and regeneration, and this piece also lights up at night, and it's definitely not too bright. It's great because it offers color, and it's a wayfinding piece. It definitely has an impact, but it's not too bright. The other thing we have going on, which is a project that I believe started a year ago is Nigel Sussman's mural, which is almost completed. He's had a lot of rain setbacks, so he should be done by the end of this week, if not next week. But he has been out there working as many days as he can in between all of these rainy days. He's been having a great time interacting with the public that happens to be in the area. Lots of questions from community. People are really enjoying this mural, and including all the staff that works in the building. There he is, way up on the lift. And up next, we have, this is an elective project. I don't know if any of you have driven by on North Main and the Broadway Plaza. This is the old Crate and Barrel building is now being taken over by Pinstripes, which is going to be a bowling alley, contemporary bowling alley. They are electing to put artwork panels outside of the building, and this will have to go to the Special Projects Committee for approval. So they are working on getting together final artist renderings. So stay tuned with this. And also Fountainhead, which is set to be refurbished. This has been a long process of trying to collect different proposals from art conservationists and get everything ready. So this will be seeing a new refresh. Again, a long time coming. And the other exciting thing that's happening right now is the mural matching grant is now open and available online. So if you know local businesses or organizations that are seeking to do a mural, they're welcome to visit our website and apply for this grant. We have so far received one application from the coffee shop on Locust called Rooted. They have the wall that is in the parking lot, so we will be reviewing their proposal at the end of the month. So that means another mural will be coming at some point this year, probably. Yep. And that is it. Any questions?
Do we have any questions? Yes?
Want to start? I have one. Okay, thank you for that report. Let's start backwards with the mural matching program. Where are we advertising mural matching, the program?
Great question. We have a press release written. I don't believe it's gone out yet. So that is one way, social media another. And I believe those are the two ways that we've, yeah.
And when will you be posting it?
Probably this week we'll send out the press release. It's ready to go. So
So I'll be able to look on Facebook, Instagram, and it'll be there?
probably in the next couple of weeks. I
What,
would.
what we can do is when it's posted, we can send that link to you. So then you can share it with other folks if you'd like.
Yeah.
We'll also share it with the Walnut Creek Downtown Chamber of Commerce so they can share it with the businesses.
Yes.
So yeah, as broad as we can.
Yes, I think that advertising this program will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
I saw on the slide with the Fountainhead that it said refurbished, and I believe, and I was against it, against replacing it. I was for refurbishing it. So which one are we doing? Are we refurbishing or replacing it?
Refurbishing.
Oh,
Yes. It seems that after receiving proposals that is possible. I think that initially it was thought that it would potentially be beyond repair
yes.
and need to be replaced. And since having different conservators come out and inspect it, at this point, yeah, it should just be refurbished.
Oh, that's very good news.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Sorry. Can you remind me of the program timeline for murals, the budget for each year, and is it rolling the whole year submissions until the money runs out?
Correct, yeah. So I believe that there's $30,000, is that correct? Yeah, $30,000 in the account. The mural matching grant is $5,000 per applicant. If
Up
they
to
Up
5,000?
to
Okay.
5,000 matching correct? And it's going to be rolling and open and correct until the money runs out, and then in the new fiscal year, maybe we can examine. It'll be interesting to see how many applicants we get.
So it's like 6 to maximum 6 if you gave them the full 5.
Right,
K
right.
For the year.
Yeah.
Are there any businesses that you guys might know that are a really good geographic location that you want to invite into this process?
I'm definitely open to that idea. I haven't walked through or looked, and it's not just downtown. It could be anywhere and any of the businesses in Walnut Creek or nonprofit organizations. So if you have ideas, please let me know.
Thank you.
Yes.
Um,
Right. Commissioner Lemo?
yes. For the matching mural grants, will those murals be put through the Special Projects Committee?
Yes.
Okay.
Great question. Yes. So they will still need to be reviewed. Correct.
Vice Chair Dresser?
Did the Crate and Barrel mural by Casey O'Connell, did it come before us for approval? I know it said it's an elective mural.
That went to the Special Projects Committee.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Any comments by any commissioners on this? Yes?
I'm just really excited for all of the new art that's going into Walnut Creek this year. The pinstripes and all of that, the panels, I pass by that street all the time, so it's really great to see public art there. And then for Fountainhead, I'm so glad that it's being refurbished because I think it really needs it. So. Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this will be then the Lesher Center Strategic Plan Update. You are rocking and rolling.
Yes, we're moving this meeting along, but really exciting things from Lesher Center. So I'm Carolyn Jackson, General Manager at the Lesher Center, and 2024 is going to be a really big year for our strategic plan. First update I have for you is our full-time marketing supervisor has officially been with us almost 2 months. It's very exciting. So Randy Teradash has been a leading Bay Area arts marketer for nearly 3 decades. And in fact, his first job in the arts was with the Lesher Center in the ticket office. So he has a long history with us and a deep love for our facility and our programming. Randy went on to be part of the marketing department at the Tony Award-winning American Conservatory Theater. He instituted a number of new audience development and engagement programs there, as well as some new marketing initiatives, and he was the recipient of an Emmy Award for commercial producing. Following ACT, he did some consulting with various arts organizations, and then in 2018 became the general manager at Feinstein's at the Nico, where he produced and worked along some of the biggest names in Broadway and jazz. So he's thrilled to be returning to us at the Lesher Center, returning to his roots, and he has been very busy absorbing all the many things we do because his role is responsible for the strategic enactment of all of our marketing for Bedford Center Rep and for Lesher Center. So he has a big responsibility, and he's been really trying to learn all of the nuances of that. So next time that you're over at Lesher Center, please take a moment to say hi to Randy. We also kicked off 2024 with headliners, the Doo-Wop Project, sold out amazing concert. So that was an exciting start to January. And then just this last week, we launched officially the Lesher Center in Your Neighborhood initiative, where we're looking at different ways that we're getting out and about in our community and different outreach activities. So Tanya Boyd Cannon, who is a really stunning jazz artist and kind of R&B soul, she went to multiple locations as part of this initiative. She visited Choice in Aging. She visited Contra Costa School of Performing Arts, and blanking on the other place that she was, but she was somewhere else, and she was really having that, the Heritage Downtown, having an opportunity to interact with different constituents within our community, right, and their different needs, and really bringing to them her skill set as well as the healing power of music. So we're really fortunate to start the program with that. We have a number of additional artists in the Headliners series who will be doing outreach events. And we have the concert trek coming in March, where we actually are able to have them kind of pull up anywhere, and these two phenomenal musicians can put on a full concert completely outside of our space. So really big things, and that's been an initiative that I know we've all been excited about, and now it's like, ta-da, it's here. Also, in addition to diversifying the voices on our stage with Fiesta Cultural, which will be returning in July, in partnership with the Bedford Gallery team, we're pulling together a couple months long series of programming that we're currently titling Uplifting Native Voices. So that's centered around rediscovering Native America, the Red Road Project exhibition that will be at the gallery from April through June. And we're adding programming around that, not just workshops that'll happen in the gallery and other special events, but we're working with local producer Jackie Kellia, who is the founder of Good Medicine, which is an all-native comedy show. So she'll be bringing that event to the Lesher Center June 22nd. And then we're working with her to pull together a panel on contemporary Native artists, which will include Danielle Seawalker from the Red Road Project, Sterling Harjo, creator behind Reservation Dogs, and Tommy Orange, who's a local author that was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, and an opportunity for them to talk about being a contemporary artist in these diverse mediums, right, and also the kind of impact of contemporary Indigenous culture. So look for that whole package of things to be rolling out soon. We're just getting tickets on sale for some of those events. But that's one of the ways we're looking at different models for how we can theme some of our activity without it being too kind of locked into like, okay, this is the only week, right, where this activity can happen. So we're going to be playing with that across the upcoming seasons. Okay, those are my strategic plan updates. I will pause before we move on to staff updates for any questions or comments.
Any questions?
I do. Can you explain the Lesher in your community again?
Yes. So Lesher Center in your neighborhood is really looking at how are we getting outside of the building. So we're not saying you have to come here to experience us, right? We're going to people in the community. So it can take many different forms, and some of it might be like the outreach activities that Tanya did, where she's going to a particular community organization or school and working with folks directly. It could be something more like the concert track, where they might roll up to Heather Farm Park, right, and just put on a concert, and whoever's there is there to experience it. So it's a range of possible activities that we're kind of branding under this Lesher Center in your neighborhood, that it's like it's us out there where you are, not you coming to us.
Oh, interesting. And is there a revenue associated with that?
They're not ticketed events. We do have a number of donors and sponsors that support those activities, but it's typically free and something that we're bringing to folks who might not have the opportunity, right, or have the means to come to us at the Lesher Center.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? I have a question. How about in the area of the more long-term projects like center rep and that sort of thing? How are those ticket sales going?
So I'll tee up a little bit what's coming. But center rep, the theater industry at large is really suffering. I'm sure you've seen lots of headlines about what's going on there. We're really fortunate with the model that we have at that we're not seeing that same impact. There's theaters who are experiencing 40% audience return. We are creeping closer and closer to pre-pandemic attendance, but people's appetites have changed, right? What they want to come out for has changed. We have a new artistic director who has to learn this community. So there's a lot of kind of competing factors happening, and I think we're in a positive place, but that there's still certainly room to grow in a different way than the success we're seeing with the headliners, just because it's a different market, right? It's a different approach.
Right. That's good to hear. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Comment.
Yes.
Thank you for your report. I really admire the extra push around diversity and equity amongst your calendar of programming, and not, couching it into the week of X Heritage Month. I really love the Native programming. I've actually have lots of Native friends in the area, and we are always looking for shows and going to Berkeley, so it'll be nice to do something locally. I think recently I saw the San Francisco Bay Area Theater Company has a show about Betty Reed Soskin, who is the first Black family to move into Walnut Creek. And you're just putting together such beautiful things, and I would hope in the future stories like hers could be at the Lesher Center, because I think they're so rich.
Yes, and I think that's definitely a focus for Matt, who's our artistic director, that he wants to root the programming around like our experience here, and to find ways that it's not just diversifying the story by bringing in something that's kind of unrelated to our community, but finding things like that where it's like, yeah, there's a direct tie-in to the folks that are going to be experiencing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one more thing to say, that I really appreciate how the building is working together as a whole. This is the first time in many, many years, maybe ever, that the gallery and the other events in the center have been integrated, and the richness shows, and I appreciate it personally and as a Bedford Gallery docent, and so thank you for all the efforts in that area. It's just great.
You're very welcome, and I think Matt and Emily and I are really passionate about continuing that forward and seeing the impact of that, because when we come together, right, around our ideas and our programming, it's such a deeper experience, and the more that we do that, the more that people are, really invested in the center and what we do. So there's win-win on all sides, plus we just love working together. So
Good. Okay, thank you.
okay, changing hats to staff updates.
Are you okay with moving to the next item?
Okay.
Okay. So upcoming events, things you can come and do. This is the last week for Every Brilliant Thing, Center Rep's current production. It's a one-man show that deals with both the beautiful things in life and the difficult things in life, and kind of the grieving process when someone in your life has a mental health crisis. And the actor William Thomas Hodgson is amazing, phenomenal. Like, you will leave just needing to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. So if you haven't had a chance to go, please go. It does close on Sunday. And then next up for Center Rep is Mystic Pizza, the new musical, and we're the Northern California premiere, so it'll be down at La Mirada Theater, and then literally they close there and they pack up the truck and they get up to us. So that's February 15th through the 25th. Lots of really fun 80s and 90s hits that are incorporated into the classic storyline from the rom-com movie. From headliners, we've got next up Mountain Stage, which is a public radio show that does all live tapings of their content. So they'll be live taping the Walnut Creek event. There's 5 different artists who will perform, and it's a cool way to then later on hear it on the radio and know that you were there in the audience for that live event. And then we also have Sarah McKenzie, an Australian jazz artist who's returning to us. She's been a very good partner and friend over many years, including helping to develop some content during our COVID closure. So we're glad to have Sarah back with us. And then next week, we'll be announcing that we are recruiting for theater technicians. So if there's anyone in your life who wants to work at the Lesher Center, do check that out. We'll send that out through our email and social media that we'll be looking for 2 new folks to join our team as technicians.
While I wait for Emily to walk up for her presentation, I'll give you an update for the Center for Community Arts. Miley could not be here this evening, but she sent me a text. So you may have seen this in the social media or other networks you may be on. We have a summer camp fair coming up, which is an opportunity for families to check out our summer camp offerings across our entire department. So that's on January 27th, which is Saturday, coming up from 9 till noon over here in Civic Park. That's 1. 2, our program called Arts After Dark. You may have participated in it before. It's in the evening, adults 18 plus, at the Shadelands Arts Campus. That's Wednesday, February 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. And then lastly, Family Art Day at Shadelands. That's for all ages, of course. So that's in the spring, Saturday, March 16th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can find more information at the Center for Community Arts website, or you could email Miley or me. Thank you. I'll have another brief update after Emily's done with her update.
Now for my update. Emily Enders, curator at Bedford Gallery. Good evening, Arts Commissioners. Okay, I have just a few things to go over. So we opened California Clay last Saturday. That was probably one of the best turnouts we've had for an opening reception post-pandemic. It was really, really wonderful. 19 ceramic artists, the majority of which are from the Bay Area and a handful from down in LA. And there's really something special about ceramics people in that they build wonderful communities wherever they go. A lot of that has to do with the technical aspects of making ceramics, and they really openly share that information with each other. And they're just wonderful, wonderful people because they work with the earth all day. And so if you weren't there, which I know some of you were, but if you weren't there, please come by and see it. It's really beautiful. It's very peaceful. A mix of aesthetic and functional art, which is not always super easy to put together, but my little team did a wonderful job, and I'm very, very happy with the show. So in relationship to that exhibition, we have a couple of workshops. We had one last Saturday with Nancy Sullivan. It was sold out. And so that was at the Ceramics Studio. And thank you, Brandon Light, wherever you are, for your help. And it had 40 students in it. So Nancy did a whole presentation on her work, which she has been a ceramic artist for over 60 years in the Bay Area, taught by Peter Volkes. So kind of a big deal. And then she gave a demo on how to print on clay. So it was really, really wonderful. We have Cocktails and Conversation, which is a series that we started this year with Aaron Toole on Thursday, February 29th at 5:30. First half hour is for you to come and meet and greet, and then he'll give an artist talk for about an hour. And Aaron is a really amazingly interesting artist, so probably not to be missed. We have a third workshop on Sunday, March 10th, led by, again, Brandon Leib, our hero. And so we'll be teaching a grandparent or a parent in me workshop on how to make ornaments. So kids will be able to make their own ornaments, paint them with glaze. Brandon will fire them, and then they can come and get them in a couple of days after that. So we're closing California Clay at the end of March, and then we'll be closed for our customary 2 weeks to open Rediscovering Native America, Stories in Motion with the Red Road Project. And we've been working on this exhibition for a long, 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 long time. And we're super thrilled to have it open. Danielle Seawalker and Carlotta Cardona are the duo behind the group. They are coming in mid-February to do an artist residency in Walnut Creek, where they will reach out to the local Native communities in our area and get stories from the community members there, take their photographs, and then we will have a special exhibition space in our gallery for the residency photographs. So really looking forward to that partnership with them. The Red Road Project opens April 13th. I'm giving you all of this because this happens all before your next Arts Commission meeting. It opens April 13th, and we will have a Cocktails and Conversation event that morning with Danielle Seawalker and Carlotta Cardona, who will give an exhibition tour at that time. Usually we try and spread that stuff out, but Carlotta lives in Italy, so we're trying to make her trips back here as effective as possible. And I think that's it. Thank you.
That's it? Thank you. Let's see.
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
Which is just a reminder. Once you're done with your commissioner updates, staff will have a few words about your departing commissioners, but we'll let you do your regular updates. But I do want to mention, along that same line, there is recruitment open for new commissioners. You will have 2 vacancies. It closes at the end of this month, the 31st. If you know of anyone who might be interested in serving as your colleague on this commission, encourage them to apply. There's 1 seat that can be a Walnut Creek resident. There's 1 seat that can be a non-resident, so it's kind of a nice balance. It could be that we have 2 Walnut Creek residents on the commission, which is fine, but you could also have 1 from outside. So it's an opportunity to have new voices here, but we'll talk a little about the departing voices before the end of this meeting. But I do want to make sure that you're aware of that, and if you know of anyone, please encourage them to apply.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to call for a 5-minute break, and then we'll restart. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll reconvene the meeting, and we'll start with commissioner announcements and brief reports on what you've been doing. Anybody have any announcements? Okay, I have one. Several of the docents were treated to a tour of the Clay Arts Studio, and I just wanted to mention what an amazing program they have there. And Brandon Leip is delightful and hard working. Just really, I mean, it's his life, and it's just wonderful. All kinds of things going on there, both with wheel, pots made on the wheel and hand built. They have They sometimes have 40 people in there at a time working, and it's just a great community activity that's a very long-standing project, and so I'm very glad that it's still going on and still in that facility. Just terrific. They've got new kilns, and it's great. So I just wanted to mention that. You can always stop by and go see what's going on. So.
I gave the last public art walking tour of 2023 in November. We had phenomenal attendance. We split the group into two, so we had two groups of 15 go tour. And I took my group to Fountainhead, and somebody actually said, "Why are you going to refurbish it? It looks just fine." I thought that was very interesting. It was a great group. I love that the walking tours continue to grow, and people tell their friends, and we're starting to get groups come.
I think we've had the best year ever.
It was a great year. I've also reached out to the art teacher at Los Lomas, and Sky has kind of helped me do that. Her name's Jessica Jurgens, to talk about putting together a public art walking tour for the advanced art students at Los Lomas, and kind of catering to what they'd like to see. Maybe, we'll put a tour together, Jane. She's working with the other art teacher on that, and then I've also mentioned to her that I'd really like her to set up a tour for California Clay, because that would totally go for her 3D art students. So I know those tours fill up quickly, and I've been emailing her like, "Come on, Jessica, let's get a class signed up," but so far, nothing. That said, the first tour for California Clay last Thursday was 8th grade at Walnut Creek Intermediate. It was an art class, and that was a great way to open up this show with art students who got it and were interested. And I wish we had more older kids coming to this show, because so many of the students work with clay in their classrooms. So it's a great show. I highly encourage my fellow commissioners to come see it. One of my favorite shows, I think, that's been at the gallery.
Great. Anybody else? Okay. No? All right, staff? Been busy?
Well, yes. You heard the staff updates on our regular goings on. Staff wanted to take this time to thank the two outgoing commissioners. And typically, when I'm here at the dais, I refer to you as Commissioner so-and-so or Chair so-and-so. I'll refer you at this point by first name. Anne, thank you for recognizing the balance between staff and commission. You have that in your background. You also have an architecture background, so you would be helpful, and we're helpful to all of us with understanding the integration of art into buildings and vice versa. So that was helpful to us who don't have an architecture background. So that was valuable. You were chair during COVID. I think the start of COVID, you were the chair, shortest chairpersonship ever. But it didn't phase you. I think nothing phases you, which is great. You were a sounding board. You were on the Public Art Committee. And staff always appreciates how much you support us, because you have that in your background as well. So thank you for everything you did for this community, for this commission, and for staff. We appreciate you and all the work you did for us. Thank you, Ann. Jane, you and I have worked together for a long time, and I had a whole list of things that I will talk about, but I decided not to talk about all of them because I want to save room for others. I will just talk about kind of the highlights, which is you were a partner to me and staff on the Public Art Master Plan when we first started that back in 2013. It only took like 4 years to finish it, but we did. You outlasted all of your other friends who were a part of that team. You were integral to the project that you see around town. You have been involved in them from the start, and you made a difference in the work that we see today versus what we saw initially, and so that's tremendous. Public art in Walnut Creek and Jane Emanuel are hard to separate.
You
Whether
have the Jane Emanuel Public Art.
Well, we can call it the Jane Emanuel Public Art Tour. We can do it. Because of your passion and your dedication and your commitment to the public art program and the art program in Walnut Creek. And so on behalf of staff, we have a couple of gifts for both of you that staff will bring up here. And we just want you to both understand how much we appreciate you as commissioners, but more importantly as people, and how much you care for the arts in Walnut Creek. So thank you for that. So we have gifts for you. And Emily, did you want to say anything, or you just want to hand out the gifts? Well, that's not it. Is that a yes or no?
So cute.
Hold on.
Be opening them now.
Do you want them to open them now? 100% to you. That's a yes.
I can't wait.
While Emily's talking, you can open them.
While I'm talking and crying, yes.
Yes.
I just wanted to thank both of you so much for all of the support that you've given me. I became the curator 1 week before COVID happened, and I couldn't have asked for a more supportive group. And I'm very, very grateful for not only the work that you do on the commission, but all of the liaison appointments you've had and all of the support that you've given us, and being on the Public Art Committee. We couldn't have done the things that we've done without you, and I'm very, very grateful to both of you. Jane, I know I'll see you. Still, you can't leave the Bedford as a docent ever. And Anne, I hope that you come and see us at the gallery. I heard that we have some docent availability if you're interested in that. But truly, from the bottom of my heart, I can't imagine having a better commission to support everything we do, not just with the public art program, but for the Lesher Center, the Bedford, and Center for Community Arts. Thank you.
So while you're opening those gifts, I just want to, and then we'll have the commissioners speak. I just want to acknowledge Roger, Emmanuel in the audience. Roger, how many meetings, Jane, you think you were on in your tenure? How many meetings do you think you went to?
17?
17. More than 17. Roger's patience and support for Jane is appreciated, because it means a lot of Mondays you're not here. So you can hold up.
That's very cool.
Great.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
That is super nice. Very nice, guys. I like that.
Right.
That's wonderful. Thank you. That's great.
I want to start the commissioner comments.
Very nice.
And Jane, thank you very much for your time on this commission. Jane, 12 years and 8 years. That's a lot of years. Some very important art got approved and built on your commission. What I would like to know from each of you is, what do you think is your favorite piece that you got approved? And there's art coming that you approved that was approved before Sarah and I were even on this commission that still has not opened. So what do you think is your favorite art that you approved in your 12 years, Jane?
It's changed over the years. It's changed over the years because my favorites change. So I think that one of my favorite ones, maybe my most, I don't know, is the recent one. It's the bee effect, because I think that it engages people, and the mirror quality of the finish brings you into the art. You are a part of it when you see it. It speaks to nature and maybe a little bit of the identification of Walnut Creek. I think it just touches all the spots that public art can do it. But I guess I have to say, though, my favorite piece in Walnut Creek is not one that we approved. Well, I guess we approved the gift of it, but we were not involved in it at all, which was Bullman Bulldog. And I think that sets us up for being a city that knows how to collect art. Is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, again, the commission didn't have a lot to do with it, thank you. But I've always been so pleased to see and walk by the Benny Bufano. I think that was just such an important piece. You know, regionally, San Francisco connection, nationally, internationally, that we have that here. And I go to the ceramic studio every week, and I walk past it, and it's just such a special thing that we have. It's a real gift.
We're lucky.
I agree. Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you both. I wish you much success in your future endeavors, and Jane, that does mean you have to stay at the Bedford forever. Thank you.
I also have some words. I
guess after you guys leave, I'm the most senior one on here, and I can't believe it. It's time has flown, but there were first, I agree with Kevin and all your references to your past profession or your profession as an architect, designer have always been very interesting and helped us, definitely helped me because when you know boundaries, I know none. So it's been great, and thank you for being a colleague, and I wish you the best. And I do hope that you stick around for all the Walnut Creek art, being a docent and whatnot, the more the merrier. And Anne and Jane, you have been my mentor here. You took me out for coffee. You explained how things get done. I thought that was wonderful because even though we had some training from staff, it's always nice to know, you come in and this is sort of how you go about the business of being an arts commissioner. I appreciate your laughs, your point of views. I also enjoy that the fact that you don't just go with the grain, and you are very much someone who likes to speak for yourself. You're an original thinker, and I love it. And your sensibilities for the arts has always been cool to observe and to grow with your perspective. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Means a lot.
Congrats, you made it to the term limit. It's been really fun. It's been too short for me. And I think what's been the most engaging about this experience is I love the intergenerationalness of everything. I love being with Sky and being with folks that are in different phases of their lives and working together collaboratively to create a vision to have our community be better. So thank you so much for dedicating your time to that. And I will definitely say both the business and the community acumen you both brought has really helped me understand this process and how to be proactive. So thank you so much. The commissioners brought you a little something. We heard you're not in the business of collecting too many things these days, but we hope that you'll enjoy our gifts.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you so much.
Hopefully that makes up for.
So much. Oh, how creative. That's just great. We have a great group. This is pretty amazing. Okay. Yeah, pass it around. That is amazing. Sky.
So I've been here for about almost maybe 2 years now, and probably the shortest out of all of you, but you both were the first faces that I saw when I joined the commission, and it was a scary thing at first. I didn't know what I was getting into, but you both made me feel so welcomed, and I really appreciate that. First, I met Commissioner Meredith. She was the person at my interview, and then I met Commissioner Emmanuel, and she helped kind of walk me through what it was like being an arts commissioner. And just watching you during meetings and talking to you out of meetings, you've just really inspired me. I've gotten to learn a lot from each of you, a lot of valuable things, and your opinions and your contributions to the commission are so valued, and I just really hope you know that. So thank you so much for all that you've done on this Arts Commission, and we will miss you greatly.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Anne, do you have some comments?
Well, first, I'd like to just say what an honor it's been being on the commission. I've been in public service, worked for 3 cities, and I think it's been almost 40 years, but I think this last 6 years, 7 years on the commission have been real highlights of my career, so I appreciate that very much. I especially want to thank staff. I know what a hard job being staff is, and I want to thank Kevin and Steve, Emily, Eric, Meticular, Cindy, and Monica. I just really appreciate your professionalism and your grace, and I just think you do a terrific job for the city, so thank you. I'd like to thank my past and present commissioners, particularly Jane and Glennis. I just learned so much from both of you, and I know we miss Glennis very much, but both of you brought such dedication, and I learned so much from you, and I just really appreciated how much you care about public art, so thank you for that. And then a couple of wishes. Well, one regret. I wish we weren't able to get a piece at the Lesher, that big piece at the Lesher. I think that was a real lost opportunity, so I'm sorry that didn't happen. But looking forward, I'd like to see, there's been so much positive focus on the downtown, but I think it would really be special if we could start moving out, and I think Heather Farms is going to do that a lot. I mean, Ignacio Valley has 60,000 vehicles trips every day, and it just seems like that's a great opportunity for people that live in Walnut Creek, but also in the region, to see what we have. And so I hope Heather Farms really takes advantage of its location to Ignacio. But I think another great opportunity is the Community Arts Building. I mean, go to classes there, you drive past it, that front lawn just is begging for something. So I would like, that would be my one wish, that we get something on that building. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Well, I think you've said a lot of things that I feel as well. You guys have a budget. You should be using your budget, thinking out of the box, being able to really make some statements with that. My wish has always been for a signature piece, and I hope that will come sometime. It's something pretty remarkable what Walnut Creek has done. I have a lot of thank yous to give, so let me get started on those, but I guess I'll start with the City Council. I was going to end with them, but we would be nowhere without the City Council. And Cindy, I bet you're out there watching, but I want you to know how much we appreciate everything that the council does and has done, and the entire council. We've never had such a strong group that are proponents of public art, and it's a remarkable thing that this city has done. We're not only a leader in Central Contra Costa, but in the Bay Area. We hold a special place that I don't think is repeated anywhere in the country. And I guess I want to remind you that we are the shepherds, or the shepherdesses, I don't know, of public art and in Walnut Creek, and I think we do an excellent job. And I think that you are all in the throes of something great that you don't realize how much you've learned, and you'll be fine and be doing great things. So I want to thank Matt, if you're in there, for making me look 20 years younger on TV. All my friends tell me how great I look, so thank you very much for that. Susie Martinez, who's the city clerk, has always been so helpful to me. Monica, you've just jumped right in and taken Cindy's place, and just do it with great cheer and excellence, and so thank you for that. Carol Fowler, you may be watching, I hope you are. She taught me everything I taught you, We had a brand-new council assembled, commission assembled in 2012, and she was the only person with any experience on it, and she's so brilliant and wonderful that she just did a great job. She's been terrific doing public art walking tours and writing the docent notes for public art, and she's become a good friend. Steve Huss, he's now having a great time in my hometown, and I appreciated his great knowledge and gentleness, and it was a great time to work with him. Carrie Lederer, who the past curator of the gallery, who gave it its depth and excellence, and has been a great friend to me, and said, hey, why don't you apply to the Arts Commission? And that was why I'm here for that. And I also appreciate the fact that she had the great foresight to get one Emily Enders onto her staff. It was terrific. Eric is not here tonight, but he's been my lightning rod, keeps me based and honest and remind me, right, always already mentioned that earlier tonight, that he always reminded me, now remember, you can't get to pick the art, you get to approve it, but he's a wise person. We've had a great friendship and wonderful conversations. Mariah, I'll be seeing a lot of you, but you're right into the swing of things, but I'm here anytime you need something from me. I'll be ready to help you. I'll be seeing you a lot at the Bedford. It's great to have you in the building. And Emily, I don't know how you did it, starting with the, one week later, the gallery closes, and it's really been quite a journey, but you've just come out of it in just full fashion, and you're doing such amazing things. These shows are so thoughtful and so spectacular, one after another. And I appreciate how much you do for the docents, how much you've supported me personally, how you've been so willing to collaborate with me. And okay, I'll stay around forever, I promise. But thank you for all of that. My arts commissioners, that you're devoted to this. You all bring different viewpoints. I love, Sky, that you just jump right in with all of not too many old ladies here, but and really, Sarah, I'm just getting to know you and all the great ideas you have. And Yasmini, we've had our great coffee breaks arguing about art and talking about what we wish we could do. Yeah. And you're my senior member here, and I've really appreciated your contribution and the background that you brought to it and your warmth. Thank you. Jill, we've known each other since we became docents together. We were in the class of 2000, so I know you're going to be a great chair and have a wonderful few years here, many years, maybe 12, you never know. But anyway, things change and happen, and I know you'll be a great leader for it, so thank you. Kevin, it's been like, well, not mother and son, but but I've watched you grow, and I mean, you were appointed to this position after I was already here, so I watched you grow into it, and it didn't take long at all. You just jumped right in, and you've helped me so much. It's been a great partnership, and you've put up with some of my things I want to do and couldn't do, but really, it's been wonderful. I will miss it very, very much. It's been a real honor to be here. Roger, you've done pretty well with those dinners on Monday nights, 4 Monday nights a year. You had nice, quiet dinners. That's about to end. So I'm sorry for that, but you know, has a great eye for art, and I'd start looking at the packet on screen online, and he'd stand there over my shoulder and looking at me, and he has opinions about it, and they were right. There was really good ideas, and so he's been a great partner in that, as well as everything else in our life. but if you think maybe you still want those dinners, I think there's a couple commission openings in other areas of the city. I was thinking maybe it's time I moved to. All right, anyhow, thank you, everybody. This has been just an amazing thing. I really do feel I've made a difference. I really do, and I think I've brought a lot of things to the foreground with Glynis, who was a great partner. And we met on this commission. We never knew each other. We couldn't believe we didn't know each other because it was just such a great match, and we did really good things. She did such beautiful work with the signature piece, what am I trying to say? The strategic plan. And of course, we've always talked about a signature piece. I know we'll get one someday. I want to be at the grand opening of it. And I think that's everybody on my list. And thank you for the opportunity. And I hope to be a help in the area of public art for the future. So with that, I think we'll adjourn the meeting.